Welcome to Whiskey and Whitetails, the show for those that hunt with a passion and drink with a purpose. As always, I'm your host, Gus,
I'm Matt.
and we have a good one for you today. Before we get into introducing our guest, Matt, other than our Patreon, other than Waypoint, and those awesome folks over there, who helps make these podcasts possible?
So we're going to do an easy one today, but as you know, Mint Mobile. But I just want to let everybody know that right now there is a buy three, get three offer that is going strong until January 1st. So if you were a new customer and you purchased a 3-month plan from Mint Mobile, you will get 3 additional months at no extra cost. And this is one of our top performing promotions that we do each year, meaning that you can expect a significant lift in conversations because everyone's switching to Mint Mobile so they can talk to people. But I didn't want to go anything further than that. But as you know, you can go to mintmobile.com/whiskey and sign up for those $15 a month. And it's great cell phone service. I got tired of paying $200 a month for cell phone service, and I made the switch to Mint Mobile. Gus, you're also working on it currently, and you have a work phone that is actually Mint Mobile.
I did. Yep. Good stuff.
Service is great. Customer
Great.
service is good. And Ryan Reynolds himself comes over and plugs your SIM card in for you when you buy it.
He'll do more than that for you.
That's 100% true.
Cool. Well, why don't you introduce our guest, sir?
Absolutely. We got Pete from Burnt Church Distillery. Just happened to be in town, so I snagged him and said, hey, come over here and do a podcast. And it's a good one. You're going to like it. And I think that's all I got.
Yep. If you've been to any of our classes recently, you've tried Anita's Church or Anita's Choice from Burnt Church. So this is if you can put a face with the product and get to know a little bit about the distillery. So enjoy.
100%. Also, go to whiskeyandwhitetails.com. Use code podcast. It is Christmas season. This might be your last chance to get it delivered on time. And if you email us and ask us, will it be there in time? I'm going to tell you no, but it might. We have no control over what the United States Postal Service or UPS does. But I promise you, we'll drop it off the same day. Within 24 hours of your order, we will drop it off and hope that it gets to you within 3 to 5 business days.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. Enjoy.
Bye.
Boom. Live.
And we're on.
I'm going to have Discord notifications the entire episode.
Yeah, I'll turn mine off.
I don't even know how to turn them off on that laptop.
I just closed Patreon or Discord.
Oh boy. I might just leave it up. It's good background noise.
Yep.
Pete, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We drank a little too much last night.
Yeah, we did.
No.
What time did I text you and ask you to do this podcast?
You said good morning at fucking 4:20 something, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into see right now.
Because I told him I was like, I'm gonna tell him good morning, but it's our good night.
4:26.
Yeah, 4:26. I was texting you saying, yeah, I'm about to go to bed, but let's record a podcast tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I was probably up, to be honest with you. I was camping with the family and did not bring a sleeping pad or blow up mattress or anything, which I usually don't sleep with a blow up mattress if it's just me, but the kids and the wife, but 4 of us in a fairly small tent. I didn't sleep for shit, so I was probably up. I just didn't hear your notification come in.
I actually told him that. I said he's camping, so he's probably awake right now. What was that? What was it? Was that a beer? Is that a Miller High Life?
Yeah, man.
Champagne of beers?
Champagne of beers.
Hell yeah.
You guys aren't drinking?
No. We just woke up. Literally. Just woke up.
I mean, I drink.
You have?
I mean, I will.
Oh, hey. Go get him a beverage. What do you want? What do you want?
Anything. Whiskey.
Whiskey.
Whiskey and beer.
Whiskey and beer. I'll do it too. You know what? Whatever you just pick a bottle. Should we have Burnt Church since we're talking Burnt Church?
Why not?
Yeah. So bring some Anita's Choice and 2 glasses and 2 Miller Lights.
Yeah.
All right. That right there, folks, is why you get married. Right?
What'd you say?
I said that's why you get married, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I got my wife is in the garage right now sanding products for Whiskey and Whitetails. Just keep them working, man.
That's it. You can't
Keep
let
them
them get
working.
too comfortable.
No.
They have to
No, I let
always
them
be, like, on their toes.
yeah, you let them get comfortable every now and then. You take them do nice things so that they appreciate and they know they have a good life, but you gotta keep them, like, doing stuff.
Yeah. Dude, I took, my wife to dinner last night, and I was like, "Just her and I enjoy
Congratulations.
the evening." And, I get there, and Bear I went to Bearcat, and George sat us down next to my boss.
No, from work?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
boss.
My government boss was sitting at the fucking table. And I was like, "Oh, cool." But no, I like him, so we get along. It's not a big deal. And then I was showing him because I was like, Bearcat's crazy, man, the way the lighting and all the stuff. So I was showing him like the whole restaurant, and I
Yeah.
walk in the bar, and I'm like, "So if you stand here and you look at them, and then I hear Matt. I look over at Pete sitting at the bar drinking. And I was like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "Why didn't you tell me you were in town?" He was like, "You said you were busy all month."
Yeah.
I did say that. I mean, I was, but
That
it's
that
one day.
generally applies to weekends. People try to fit stuff in our weekends, and
Yeah.
it's always really busy. But
Yeah.
Matt's got way more free time in the evenings
Then who?
than me,
No, I don't. Why do you think
Thank
that?
you.
that you have
Oh,
more free time
because you have
in
kids.
the evenings.
Yeah, no, I was just kidding.
Yeah. Hi, Andy.
She can't hear you. Gus said you look stupid.
I did say God damn it. I did say that.
So,
Shit.
yeah, I figured while you're in town, we should sit down and just kind of like chat it up. Anybody that's listening knows that we're huge fans of Burnt Church.
Appreciate it.
We're fans of you. We're fans of Chris, and talk all the time. I think we have a good relationship going. But
Oh, yeah.
like the products are good. We use them in the class. We just taught. I just told you last night that Gus did a whole presentation on 6-grain Anita's Choice.
Yeah.
How many states are y'all in now?
We're in 3.
3
So,
states.
South
Nice.
Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee.
Tennessee. Okay.
Yep. So Tennessee's brand new. The Anita's Choice and the Bluffton whiskey go there in January. Yep, right now.
I'm gonna pull this up some.
Ooh, wow. Getting special treatment there.
Look at that. It's gonna make it hard to drink.
Now you're good. No, yeah, you just got to turn your head a little bit when you drink.
But yeah, so Tennessee's kind of our new state, but slowly working at it.
I think you guys will
Trying
be
to figure it
well
all out.
received.
Yeah, so far it's been pretty good up there, and we don't even have the bourbon and the 2 main products up there, so we can't complain right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you're working on what do you have coming that well, let's talk about Burnt Church itself. Like give the people a little history, background, whatever you want to say. I know this is your favorite part of the job, but
man, I'm not very good at the history part of it. So started by 2 brothers, the Watterson brothers. Wanted to do something different and wanted to start a distillery, so they just started Burnt Church. The name comes from Burnt Church Road, which is one of the main roads in Bluffton. And the owner always looked at it and said, "Why in the hell is that called Burnt Church Road?" Hired some historians, spent 2 years digging into the history and doing all that kind of stuff. Honestly, I don't know much more than that. I still haven't read the book.
it's all good.
My mom, they got a whole book published on it, all the history of the Lowcountry and the area and Burnt Church and all that kind of stuff. My mom read it, so I'm just got to ask her for the Cliff Notes.
Yeah. And they were like, "We need a badass distiller to come head this thing up," and they found you.
Yeah, I was right across the bridge in Hilton Head, making rum and vodka over there at the time. So
Yeah.
Nice.
I was ready to jump ship, get back into the whiskey game. That's where I started all those years ago in Greenville, South Carolina, at Dark Corner, which no longer exists. So
Because you left and it killed them.
No, not really. They killed themselves, but that's a different story.
That's a growing trend these days.
Yeah.
Killing yourself. Yeah. So what's so your flagship whiskey is the Anita's Choice, which is a 6-grain. What are the 6 grains? Rice, corn, wheat, barley.
Yeah. So corn, wheat, barley, rye, and then we do oats and Carolina Gold Rice.
Carolina Gold Rice. That was the one I was going to remember. And because there's so much grain in it, it creates a ton of flavor. But the actual whiskey itself is absolutely delicious. We use it all the time. We teach people we tell people about it. We promote it. We do all the things. But you also have Bluffton whiskey, and what's that?
That is mainly the Carolina Gold rice. It's 80% Carolina Gold rice with equal amounts of wheat and barley in it.
Okay.
Um, Brand new white American oak barrels, charred, all that kind of good fun stuff. So you get a lot of those dimensions that you do get in bourbon because of that new barrel, but then that main Carolina Gold rice really adds a lighter flavor and different dimensions that most people have never had in a whiskey.
Right. Okay. And then what's the Johnny Fever? I was like,
Yep.
you're not going to forget this.
Yep. Old Johnny Fever. We're re-releasing that one in January, which we're all pretty excited for. It is more of a traditional Kentucky style bourbon, 4 grain. So main corn, a lot of rye, a little bit of wheat, and a little bit of barley.
Mm.
That one coming out, I think we're sitting right around 5 years for that one when it comes out.
And that one's we had a chance to taste it when we came to visit y'all. And what did you think about it, Gus? It was good, right?
Yeah, I haven't had anything from that distiller that I did not like. So
Yeah, that's
Anita's Choice is my favorite. The one that I think Chris that brought from the office, the one with
Oh,
the
my little samples.
what no well he brought samples, but then he brought a bottle that it's got the shotgun.
Oh, that's Johnny
yeah.
Fever.
The Johnny Fever. Okay, that is Johnny Fever. All right, sorry, I couldn't remember the name. That was really good too, though. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good stuff.
It's if you're a duck hunter, if you're a hunter at all, and you like the way a shotgun shell looks, that's the bottle cap for that bottle. And they said they're coming out in January, but it'll be distillery only.
Distillery only for next year, and then we'll probably look at some small distribution, maybe only in South Carolina for the year after that, and we'll keep growing it from there.
It'd be cool to see that on the shelf. It's an odd sized bottle, but it's the way it's designed is really cool.
Yeah, so it's all designed because the owner, he nicknamed his father-in-law Johnny Fever. That's where the name comes from.
Mm.
It's the only one that's kind of got some personal ties to it, not history. And him and his father-in-law used to go out to South Dakota and pheasant hunt all the time. So that's why the grass is in there on the bottle and all painted up. That's why the shotgun shell's the way it is. So he wanted to do something for his father-in-law.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Nice.
It's a cool bottle. It's a cool story that goes along to it. Yeah, it's really good. And y'all talked it up before you even brought it down. And I was like, okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
But it ended up being really good.
Yeah, a lot of people are waiting on it. We get people coming in all the time. When's it going to be out? When's it going to be out?
Yeah.
So we had it the first year we opened, and then just didn't have enough. So I kind of put a hold on it. Said we need to hold this back. Wait, it's going to suck, but
yeah,
it'll be worth it in the long run.
And the location that y'all have is, for anyone that's never been there, it's definitely like a destination. It's one of the most beautiful distilleries we've ever been to, right?
We talk about it all the time. Not just the way it's built and how it's designed and decorated, but like the thought that was put into the details. Everything from the informational stuff that's throughout the distillery, but then like the fun stuff like the bathroom, the wall or whatever. Like it's just cool. It's just cool, man. Like it's a really cool place. I wish we lived closer, so I that's the kind of place I'd bring the kids and the family and just go have some pizza and hang out.
Yeah, the pizza place next door. Y'all own that, or how's that work?
So the owner owns that as well. But we're actually about to pretty much demolish the inside and just make the entire pizza place just a full out kitchen. And then so if you want to eat food, you just come to the distillery.
Nice.
And that way we can offer more variety than just the pizzas, salads, and little things that we're doing now. We're trying to really open it up, get our menu down. And then also after we did that Miller's All Day dinner with Jeff and all them, I was like, once we do that, we need to start bringing chefs in and doing dinners at our own place and kind of really hyping it up. So
that'd be good to have like a pop-up kitchen deal where different chefs could come in and create different types of food, because you guys already do that with music. So if you could have not only the pizza place, but have chefs come in and make their own, like tonight we're having, say Chefry comes, and then you have a local musician, and like you can really cater the entire evening to kind of fit whatever vibe you're trying to put off.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
yeah, we're looking forward to it. We want to kind of boost the food to be on the same level as the whiskey and the rest of the building. We really want to have something that's all the way well rounded. Like people, yeah, they're coming for the whiskey, but we also want the food so good that people just come for the food too.
Yeah.
So,
Do you think people come right now to just to eat, or they're definitely coming to the
oh,
distillery?
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
My brother goes there all the time just for the pizza.
Yeah, the pizza's really good.
Yeah, so they're doing it. We just want to boost it up a little bit more, like pizza's great, but it's just one thing. We want to
Yeah.
really add on to that. So.
Yeah, I think it's a smart move. And, what's the story behind that giant piece of wood? Is that the tree from where Burnt Church used the Burnt Church Road tree?
So no, that is not the Burnt Roach Road. So the Secession oaks are famous down here in the
Mhm.
Lowcountry. And there's a really famous one where supposedly during the Revolution or something, they used to meet under it and have their little secret meetings to go against the British.
Mhm.
Um, so that tree got hit by lightning, I think it was, and um, the owner made a big donation to the local historian society and for the piece of tree.
Oh.
And y'all haven't been there, but we actually got a glass top on the top of it now.
Hmm.
And it tells the whole history of the tree and all the stuff it's been through and how old it is and
Hmm.
all the history that surrounds those kind of trees in the low country and how like big they were for the local people at the time trying to make moves,
Yeah.
get out of British control.
Huh. Yeah, it's like the size of a it's hard to explain. It's like you walk in, it's like the foyer of the foyer, if you will, of the of the distillery, but it's this huge chunk of wood. I mean, it's absolutely massive. And if you've never seen live oaks or secession oaks,
They're huge.
they're big ass trees. Yeah.
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 It kind of makes it a pain when I got to take things out the front door.
Because it's in the way.
It's
So you got you got to get around it.
yeah, because I'm always seem to be the one that gets called when furniture needs to be moved. So
Well, I mean, it's
Of
just your
course.
fault for having all the muscles and strong back,
I guess I should sit around more and do nothing.
Yeah. That's what I've heard master distillers usually head distillers, excuse me, usually do is, sit around and do absolutely nothing, right?
Yeah, no, I'm not one of them.
No. No, you're working hard, and you're working on a bunch of different stuff too, like,
Yeah.
can we talk about some of that, like some of the projects you're working on?
Oh yeah, yeah. So when I joined the company, I said if we're gonna do this, I really wanted to focus on local. And we got a lot of cool people around here. So I partnered with Marchand Mills, and they're all known for their heirloom grains. So that's where we get all the Carolina Gold rice. We get black seashore rye from them. We get Guinea Flint corn. We get Jimmy Red corn. We get a lot of cool, unique things, and they're all grown in South Carolina. So not only are we boosting the local market just for ourselves, but we're also helping the ag side of it. Then we also partnered with another farm called Weathers Farm, and they started a malt house on site called Palmetto Malt. And so whatever I don't get from Marchand, like my yellow corn, my wheat, my rye, um, barley. They grow barley in South Carolina, believe it or not, in the Low Country,
Mm,
and they do all the malting for me the way I want it malted, all the rest of it. So even triticale, which is a hybrid between wheat and rye. I've got all these weird, crazy ideas in my head. So I've kind of went to all them and started looking at it and wanted to do something that was a little outside of the box, but I didn't want to go so far that it kind of scared people away. So I wanted it to be just close enough that I got different flavors that are unique to South Carolina will be unique to us, um, but weren't going to go crazy and be scary. And people are like, I don't want to try that. So,
right.
but we got single malts. We got 3 single malts working. One was made from a pink corn called Unicorn, 100% corn, single malt. It's pretty delicious. I tried it the other day. So it's got about another year and a half on that one. We got a triticale single malt. We got a barley single malt, and then we're doing a couple bourbons. Let's see, Guinea Flint bourbon, which is going to be a wheated bourbon, and Jimmy Red, which I ended up pairing with the triticale to give it some different aspects and some different notes that most people have probably never had before.
Yeah.
So
We have go ahead.
are you taking all these projects? These are decided you're taking these to the finish line, or you getting these to a point, gonna taste again, and then decide what continues to go?
Yeah. So right now everything's got some time on it.
Okay.
The single malts will be the first thing that comes out, because all my used barrels on site were all smaller. We started out with the 25-gallon barrels,
Mhm.
and we're only doing 53s. So those are going to be number one. Those are going to be out hopefully in the next year and a half. We'll start rolling those out the door. The bourbons and the ryes and the other things that I've created while we're there, they've got a ways.
Yeah. What's the average year you put on one of the bourbons? 4 to 5, or it's still too young?
Right now I'm thinking they're probably going to be about 5 when we
Yeah.
release. But I'm kind of checking them every so often just to see what they're doing, how they're doing. And that was my big point is we're not releasing anything until it's absolutely ready to go.
Yeah. And that's one thing that we harp on all the time, that people talk about age, and it's like, like, we don't really care how old it is. We just want it to taste right.
Yeah.
And so, but that being said, as most people know, at 4 years, you can call it something cool. And so that's usually the age where everybody pulls everything. And there's people that are local to us that make stuff, and they won't go over 4 years. And they say, well, it's just good. It's good at 4. It's like, well, you don't know what it tastes like at 5,
Exactly.
because they refuse to, they don't want to, it's just, that's a year of us not selling a product. But what's also funny is there's another local distiller that uses Jimmy Red corn. And so, um, we were talking about it last night, and we ended up pulling out White Dog from Burnt Church from that distillery, and some, maybe some homemade shine I might have, and went back and forth. And the stuff from the other distillery, without putting him on blast, Gus,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. I won't say it.
it's you tell him. Let's fix your mic.
Um, it's not the same.
No,
It's not the same corn.
it's
It is
not.
definitely this is definitely two different things.
Oh my!
Yeah.
It's
I
not
was
Jimmy Red corn.
I
So what he's
wasn't
saying.
I was surprised what your response was going to be, but I was not expecting that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not the same corn. It is very, very different in flavor and everything. So
Hmm.
it's a butcher.
yeah, most likely.
Yeah, so it's butcher corn, not Jimmy Red.
Interesting.
You can see it, taste it, smell it, all of it when you put it side by side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet. Man,
It's completely different.
Yeah.
what a bummer.
Yeah, it's fascinating, right?
Yeah.
Especially since they've kind of like built their name on the backs of that corn.
But it's what it is.
Yeah.
That's all right. I like their rye better, anyways.
The sorghum.
Yeah.
Are you making a sorghum rye too?
No. We got a traditional rye. Well, it's not traditional. We did a low rye. It's our Palmer stretch. Um, Man, you think being the head distiller, I'd remember the things. I think it's 60% rye, a lot of wheat, and a little bit of barley. And then we have an heirloom rye called Black Seashore. So it's 70% unmalted and 30% malted Black Seashore that we got going in barrels
How
right
much
now.
does the flavor change when you malt a grain?
Um, it depends on how much you malt it, and what kind of toast levels you get into it. I like doing a little bit of malt on some things because it helps soften it up, and then it gives you some other toasted characteristics that will come into the play. Um, but it all depends on how far you want to go. Like if you do a light um, Pilsner style malt, it's not going to be as much, but then you can get all the way into chocolate malts, what are going to change everything
Hmm.
completely. So
So if you were to do 100% one type of grain and then malt some of it, you could play around essentially forever.
oh
It's
yeah,
like 50%, 60%, 70%,
oh yeah,
and it'll be different every time. And then how much you malt it.
yeah,
See, and that's to me, that would be the fun side of distilling, is
yeah.
doing that, just playing around.
That's what I do.
Yeah. it's I'd be way more into that part. If somebody wanted to become a distiller, what's the path? Because we were talking last night, like if you leave, like they're pretty much screwed, because there's not a lot of you walking around.
No.
So like, how do you how would someone get into it? Like if they're like, I want to quit my job today and I want to be the next best distiller in the world, like what's that process look like?
Start from the bottom and work your way up.
Like,
Um,
get a job at a distillery and start working?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, there's a lot of small guys out there, so the jobs they're around. Um, you're not going to make a lot of money at it, but I mean, if you really truly are passionate, you got to hop in feet first and just go. And you got to be willing to do all the BS that nobody wants to do: bottling, mashing, uh, playing with spent grain, which just is miserable sometimes. um, Hucking barrels around, doing all that kind of stuff, and then eventually that's the way I did it. And I slowly worked my way up and kind of started trying the spirit, started understanding how to try the spirit. And it's really more of trying frequently so you get over that alcohol burn. Because, we're trying stuff at anywhere from 100 all the way up to 135, 140. So if your palate's not used to all that alcohol that's in there, you're really going to have a hard time understanding those flavors. So it's really getting your palate used to that alcohol. And once you do, everything starts opening up. And one day you're just like, holy crap, I can taste everything.
I kind of know what I'm doing all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's that's the other thing too, is I think a lot of people think distillers are just drunk all the time, just hammering down liquor, and it's like you're not really tasting to drink, you're tasting to perfect a flavor.
Yes.
And like, what is that process like as you go through? Like, because I know you'll taste the grain, the mash, like you taste a little bit of everything.
Yes. Yeah. You got to make sure everything is consistent all the time. You don't want any off flavors. You don't want any bad cuts. You don't want any bad grains. So it's just a constant, and it's small tries. You don't need to drink a lot. Taste it once, taste it twice, make sure it's good, make sure it's consistent. When you're starting up, like, so I started on a pot still. Pot stills, yeah, you are trying stuff all the time because you're actually making the cuts consistently. You're having to pull off those heads. You're having to do the tails if you want to, depending on what type and style and what you're going for. Maybe you're going a little bit more into the tails. You want more oils. Maybe you want a little bit more dryness. Maybe you want just straight hearts. I mean, so you're trying it a little bit more. With the still that we run and with stills that everybody runs in Kentucky, they're continuous stills. So we have a PLC that controls everything, and I have even more control over the distillate than a pot still could ever give me, because I can control how much oil, how much reflux, how much tails, everything's worked into there. So when I'm getting all that set up for a brand new product, I'm sitting there tasting and smelling it constantly to get it dialed in. Once I have that thing dialed in, then it's just, all right, set the parameters for it and let it go. And then you just try it and make sure that nothing's coming off weird. It hasn't changed or anything like that, but it's maybe once or twice a run. It's not very much once you get it going.
Mm.
So,
and you hear these rumors about distillers you could just walk in the room and just tell, like, it's screwed up or it's perfect or what something needs to change. Like, what are you looking for in that aspect? Like, say you had a day off and somebody's distilling for you, and then
I can watch it from my phone.
Yeah, and you can just look at it and tell if they're doing it right or wrong.
Yeah. So I, like, every once in a while, I try not to check up on my guys. Like, I trust them to get the stuff done the way it needs to be done, and they do a really good job. But yeah, every once in a while, I'll pull up my phone and I'll just look at the stills, and I mean, I can change everything from wherever I'm at as long as I have cell
Isn't that
phone
crazy? You
service.
can like remote distill.
Wow,
Who'd have
that's
known that
wild.
distilling? You could have a remote job distilling. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So I mean, somebody's got to be there because you got to transfer the mash into to the beer well and do all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
You
every
could be
morning,
like a virtual distiller for like 15 different distilleries, just
Yeah.
making bank.
Dude, you could. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I start up the equipment every morning before I even leave my house. Like, get everything
Nice.
hot, so everyone as soon as I come in, it's just
That's smart.
start milling.
Yeah,
Start
I can't
going.
imagine. Like, I wonder if anyone's ever done the analysis of the ability to do that versus having to come in and wait. Like, how much more efficient, like how much money you've saved, and wasting. Companies not having, or a distillery not having to waste time waiting for equipment to heat up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it saves me 30 minutes every morning.
Right.
Easy.
So, like, over the course of a year, like, how many days is that more of like productivity? Sorry, I
It's a
just got
lot.
really real businessy and nerdy there for a second.
It's a lot. It helps me out a lot. I mean, I'm running around all the time. We have
Mhm,
2 rick houses, so one's on site, one's not. We got an off-site, warehouse for all of our, raw materials,
mhm.
so I'm constantly going around. So anywhere I can save time and not have to
Yeah.
be just waiting around on stuff, it helps me out a lot.
It's funny how efficient being salary will make you.
Yeah.
Like,
Does,
I don't wanna do anything the long way.
yeah,
I
no.
wanna get it done as quick as
Yeah.
possible and get out of there.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
it's crazy.
when you guys are storing all your raw material, how long do you keep stuff like that on hand before it gets used? I imagine you don't want to be sitting on that stuff for too long.
So, when it comes to grain and everything, I get grain deliveries once a week to every other week, just kinda
Okay.
depends on what I'm making and what I'm buying at the time. Barrels, I get barrels once a month. I
Mhm.
drive up our cooperage is in Bamberg, South Carolina, oak to barrel, so I'll
Yep.
drive up there in my 28-foot box truck that we got, and I pick up the barrels once a month and bring them back down, and so they don't sit around very long.
Okay.
When it comes to glass and corks and all that other labels, all that kinda stuff, um, more you buy, cheaper you get. So
Mhm.
we are a business. We're trying to keep our costs down so we can actually make some money, especially since we're a startup 2.5 years old. Like it's still rough for us right now. So we buy in bulk on that, and I try and get our costs as low as we can get it so we can actually move forward.
Mhm.
Nice.
So
The, that was the other thing too about starting up. So, like, you had a contract with a distiller somewhere in Kentucky. I don't know if you
yeah, yeah, yeah,
tell
no,
people who it
yeah,
is or
yeah,
not.
yeah. So we got all of our original recipes, the Anita's Choice, Bluffton Whiskey, Palmer's Stretch, and a little bit of Johnny Fever made by Jep the Creed up in Kentucky.
And so they made, like, kind of the stuff and laid it down for you so you could have product to sell while you're running your still and getting everything stood up.
Yeah, so I mean, it takes. I mean, if you really want to put out a year old whiskey, you can, but we're not trying to. We're trying to get the stuff to where it's right. So right now, we're looking at 2.5 minimum, all the way up to 5, 6, 7 years, just depending on what the product is and how long we want it to go. So, if we would have just opened day one, we would have had some vodka.
Yeah.
That's not very fun.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
so yeah, we got those guys to make it, and we started that in 2018. So when we opened the doors in 2021. Um,
I was like, "I know, but I'll let you figure it out."
brain shut off for a second. So when we opened the doors in 2021, we started making our own, but then we also had the whiskey to sell for everybody to come and enjoy. So it's our recipes, it's our everything. They just made it for us.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um, and they aged it there and sent it down. Like, are
Yeah.
you guys are bottling it and they're just sending you the barrels back, or what's going on?
So they aged it for us. They kept it in their rick house, and then as soon as we got our DSP and our on-site rick house was done, it was, oh man, I think it was like 13 or 14 track trailer loads of barrels that we
Wow.
had to unload by hand.
Fun.
Ooh.
Put them on pallets and then stack them up in the rick house. And then I didn't know where anything was because it was just so frantic, just
Yeah.
trying to get the
Just
trucks out
stuffing
of
it
there.
all in there.
Yeah, and then I had to me and my 2 guys had to go through it all and start trying to find it, and then we're moving pallets on pallets on pallets trying to find barrels, and then
Mhm.
some barrels are so messed up you can't read what's on it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Whoops.
Yeah.
You just keep tasting it and figure out, like, I guess this is it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it'd be funny if you end up throwing something in a barrel or in a bottle and you bottle it all and then you taste it out of the bottle and you're like, shit, this was Bluffton whiskey.
No,
Not.
I wouldn't have done that. No, definitely tasted it before.
Yeah.
This Anita's Choice tastes a lot like a single malt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the hope or the goal, right, is for everything you've distilled to taste the same
Yeah, well,
or better.
or better. We're going for better. We definitely want it to be the same. We want it to be similar. But using the South Carolina grown grains, distilling it down here on a little bit different system. There's a bunch of different aspects that are out of the control of everybody.
Right.
that are going to change it up a little bit, but we're hoping that it comes out a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, the product's already really good right now, so if we can get it better, it's just going to help us out.
So right now, are you guys blending to achieve a certain flavor, or like how are you bottling right now?
I don't have that luxury. That's where we're trying to get
Mhm.
to where I'll sit there and pull as 20, 30 barrels, try them all, and say these are the ones ready to go. And I'm not trying to be the same flavor every time. I don't want the same thing every time. I just want the best possible combination.
Mhm.
So every batch is going to be just a little bit different, but it should all taste pretty damn close.
And how many bottles are we talking about for per batch?
It just depends on how much we're selling.
Yeah. Okay.
So most of the time I pull about 20, 25 gallon barrels right now at a time.
Okay.
And we bottle that up.
So it's a lot.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a pretty good bit. We're usually bottling when we do the Anitas, it's usually 400 to 500 gallons at a time.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's me and two other guys, and we're working hard. We're bottling everything on site. We're milling everything on site. So I don't have the luxury to sit here and say, oh, well, we need 20 cases for this order, or 100 cases for this order. We need to bottle something. No, we're constantly having to bottle. We'll bottle a bunch of pallets at a time. Liquor's not going to go bad. So we'll just hang out. And then that way we're not on the bottling line every day of every week on top of trying to do everything else.
So you said liquor's not going to go bad. Does that mean that you don't have to store your whiskey in a temperature climate controlled space?
No.
You could store it in your attic if you want.
Yeah.
Just keep it out of direct sunlight and you're pretty much good.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's crazy, Gus, because we get chewed out all the time about that.
Yeah.
That we're irresponsible for leaving shit in an attic.
The whiskey sits in barrels in an uncontrolled
Right.
warehouse and
For years.
Yeah.
It doesn't kill it. Isn't that weird?
Those actually variations in temperatures help it.
Right.
That's how the maceration works. The hotter the barrel gets, the more it moves into those into those staves. And then the colder it gets, it comes out. So that allows that ebb and flow in and out of that barrel to actually pull those flavors out of that barrel and make it what it is.
So sitting in a glass bottle in an attic inside of a box is not killing it at all.
Not going to hurt it. This isn't beer.
Who would have known, man?
Imagine that.
I mean, we knew, but clearly no one else does because everybody tells us that how stupid it is that we don't take care of our whiskey. We treat it like a, what do they say, redheaded stepchild? Is that the phrase?
I'd pick a phrase. There's been several.
Are we still allowed to say redheaded stepchild?
I don't know. Probably not. We're probably canceled now.
Yeah, we're probably in trouble for that one. You never know these days.
You never know.
People get riled up.
I don't watch the news, so I don't know what the newest thing is that everybody's getting butthurt about.
I think it's anywho. So you're down here this weekend for boys' night, basically, right? And you're also going to the event that we went to last year.
Yeah, so I'm in town. Did a tasting over at Bottles in Mount Pleasant. Went and talked to Gibby's. Going to do a tasting at Gibby's on the 22nd of December. Trying to grow the Charleston market for us. And then also turn it into a fun weekend for two of my childhood best friends just came into town. We're going to go out in Charleston, have a good time. And then tomorrow's the Heritage Fire Tour, which if you don't know what that is, it's 20 chefs cooking over open flame right in front of you. And it looks pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go check that out down there at Kewah River and just have a good old time.
I did that last year in Castle and Key. Is that who was there? You remember? It was Castle and Key, right? I don't remember either. There was the only distillery, I guess. There's a lot of liquor trucks and stuff, but there was a distillery there, and they had samples that were free. And it was, I swear to you, the worst whiskey I've ever had in my life. And it was, I was super thirsty. I was eating all that meat, but I went there with shouts out to Andrew Beam.
That's right.
That was when he gave me COVID. He was like, "It's not COVID. I just have something wrong in my throat." And then I tested positive for COVID the next day. Killed my grandma. I'm just kidding. But it was an awesome yard over there.
Yeah.
It was an awesome time. The over the fire cooking thing was cool. They had pigs that were just kind of sprawled out of her pits, and they were just slowly roasting them. Great time though. It's really you guys will enjoy it. I didn't know it was this weekend. We're working the market
Yeah,
today.
I was gonna say that would be a good event to go network and shake some hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm
What
looking
time does that
forward to
start?
it. 3,
Nice,
3, 2. I don't know.
Is that Sunday? Is that Sunday?
Yeah, it's Sunday.
Oh, I guess we could make it.
possibly.
Possibly. We'll see. Is somebody mowing their yard? Can you
It
close
sounds
that
like
door for me?
go tell him to
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah, go tell him to stop mowing his yard. We're doing a podcast.
It's
Yeah,
December. Who mows the yard in December?
Right.
Even in the low country. You don't get it.
Disrespectful people. That's who.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's gonna be a good time. Hopefully, get to meet some cool chefs and really talk to some people and promote our brand. Even though I'm not supposed to be working, it's supposed to be fun, but work never stops. So,
Well, I mean, when you're passionate about it, is it really work?
yeah.
Yes. That's my other
Nice.
favorite thing about life is like, if you love it, you never work a day in your life. It's like, no, you're still working.
Oh, I'm working all
Yeah.
the time. I love
Yeah.
what I do, but I'm working constantly.
100%. Yeah. And you're a hunter as well. We can talk some whitetail stuff.
Oh yeah. Anytime I can get in the woods. This is actually the first weekend during deer season since August 15th. I've not been in the woods.
That's what I love to hear.
Hell yeah.
Not having a good whitetail season, but it happens.
Dude, those are hit or miss.
Yeah.
We were talking last night. It's been a good year. Cordray's broke all the records this year for amount of deer they've brought in and put out. I've been doing pretty good. Gus and you are about the same boat though.
Yeah, I got this monkey on my back. I gotta get it off.
Yeah, I got one buck down. Was it a week ago? Yeah, last Friday. Other than that, if it wasn't for my Wyoming trip and that antelope I took out there this year, I would be very much hurting for meat.
Yeah. Where my freezer's about 6 inches from being full.
Nice.
Yeah, everybody's welcome. I want everyone to know that I have a ton of meat. I am the hunter.
Yeah, I've trying my best to keep up with what I've been doing. So since 2017, I've provided myself with minimum 75% of the meat I eat at my house. So I'm trying to keep that streak going, but it's gonna be rough. Christmas, I'm off all week, so I'm gonna be in the woods 24/7.
Nice.
I don't blame you.
Trying to make that happen.
Down there in Bluffton?
No, I'll be back home. So I grew up right outside Augusta, Georgia, in North Augusta, kind of border of Edgefield, Aiken County.
Mhm.
So I go back up there and hunt Sumter National Forest.
Nice.
A lot of land, a lot of public land, really good. Deer aren't big, but I don't care. They still taste good.
Yeah.
So I just go up there and just hammer it. Public land,
Nice.
public land, public land.
So you're primarily feeding yourself off of public land that's free that anyone could hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we hear people complain all the time, like, I just don't have anywhere to hunt. It's like,
Public land.
you do.
You don't have anywhere
Got lots
easy
of-
to go hunt. You got to be willing to go out there and go to places that most people don't want to go to.
Oh
Right.
yeah. Oh yeah. I
And
climb
it's
into them.
A little harder because you can't bait,
Nope. But
but it's
that's-
real hunting.
Yeah, that's the fun part of it is
Right.
actually learning about the deer, learning how they move, learning how they walk. I mean, I get done if I sit till 10 a.m., nobody usually is out there, and I just start walking around.
Mm-hmm.
You never know if you're going to jump a deer. You never know what you're going to find. So just start walking around, look for sign, look for this. You never know if you're going to find another good spot.
Yep.
That could be the one. I did that a couple years ago and pulled out a beautiful 10-point that I showed you a picture of last night. So you just got to be willing to put in the time and the effort.
Big wide boy.
Yeah.
Which is crazy for South Carolina public land.
Yeah.
It's,
2 years in a row I pulled out a 10-point, beautiful 10-point, and the next year I pulled out it was a 7, but it had a 22-inch widespread on it. So absolutely gorgeous buck. So, but I'm willing to put in the time, effort. I don't have kids. I don't have a wife. I
Nice.
just hunt and work.
that's every man's dream, I think. Nobody bothering you at home.
Yeah.
And you get to hunt whenever you want, and your job is to make whiskey. So it's like,
Yeah.
and you're from Georgia, so it's like
Oh, South Carolina, but
what an eligible bachelor, ladies, for all of our women followers.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know how many we have, but if I was a lady, I'd be hanging out outside. I'd be sitting outside with a pen, waiting for your autograph every day.
Come on.
And if you want to meet him, you are the best. I think they said you were the best tour guide at Burnt Church, the most enthusiastic, and
Oh yeah, I love giving tours. It's my favorite part of the business. um, yeah. No, I do them every once in a while, but it's it's a lot of time, and I don't mind doing it. It's just I got so much other stuff to do that I prefer not to.
what's crazy to me is because I mean, Gus and we've been on several tours of distilleries, and they're all basically the same, a little different. I mean, it's the same story, just a different way of telling it. I guess is the way to put it. It's like never mind. But what's funny to me is whenever they would bring a head or master distiller out to talk to people for anything other than "Hi, my name is, and I work here as the distiller. Shake hands, go away." Because I couldn't imagine having the person that is in charge of all that answer questions like, "There's corn in this,"
Yeah,
because we go on some tours and we hear some of the questions they ask is like, I don't even. I couldn't imagine being a master distiller and having to answer those questions.
yeah, it does get old, but it's part of the job.
Hmm.
Um, but we train up the guy that does our tours. His name's Clinton, and he's absolutely amazing at them. Does a really, really good job. And he's gotten all of his information from us. And if he doesn't know anything, he'll pull one of us aside. He'll ask us, and we'll answer it for him. We have no problem doing that all the time. But yeah, just having to do that. I mean, because he usually spends a good hour on our tours.
Nice.
You're getting the whole history of Burnt Church. You're getting everything about the Lowcountry, and he knows all that well better than I do. You don't. I'm just not a history person. Um, and then in the back, he's learned everything from us, so he knows what he's talking about. And he walks you through the rick house and tells you all about the rick house. And then he comes in, and everybody gets to um, decide what samples they want to try as part of the tour. And then he walks you through each one of them. So if everybody has something different, he still walks you through each one of them. And he's really personable. He does a really good job. But that's an hour and 15, sometimes an hour and 30, just depends on how much engagement he gets.
Mm.
So, if I got to take an hour and 30 minutes out of my day,
All day long.
yeah, I'm never getting my own job done. Like,
Yeah, it's true.
yeah,
Right.
so,
Yeah. It's they do tours every day, or there's certain days of the week.
um, I think it's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday normally, unless it's something special. They'll do some on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but everything's got to be booked ahead of time. So I think it's through the website. You go on there and book it up, or if you got a special event, we'll make some other arrangements and bring him in and have him do them on other days.
I highly recommend that if you want to go there, that you book a tour, but also if you can find a way to get yourself into the VIP seating, that's a pretty awesome experience too.
Yeah, that's comfortable. I've taken a nap on that couch.
It's wild how cool it's like. It reminds you of like what do you think, Gus? Like a 17th century home.
Yeah, it's really open, but it feels like it's its own little space. It's cool.
Yeah, it's really comfortable. It's got like the red velvet ropes, and
Oh yeah,
like, and it says like a huge sign. This is a
there's somebody.
VIP area.
Yeah.
Like if somebody's in here, they're important.
Yeah.
And so you and Chris let us sit in there, and we drank for a little while, and everybody that walks in kind of like looks over there, like I want to sit in that spot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, fuck off. You can't.
it's ours. Go away.
Yeah. A lot of people like it. A lot of people trying to get in there. So
Yeah. Tell us about the your antelope that you just got.
yeah. So drove out to Wyoming by myself. That was fun. Got boring after a while.
Yeah,
So
it's a long drive.
24 hours
Wow.
of driving.
Yeah.
Took me 2 days, got out there, and then public land once again. Got a doe fawn tag, and I mean, just start hitting it. And
Did you have a guide?
nope, all by myself.
For real?
Yeah.
I thought this was like a planned trip.
No.
That's
Just-
pretty epic. You drove out there by yourself to hunt public land by yourself,
Yeah.
and then you were successful.
Yeah.
You killed a pronghorn.
Yeah. It took me 3 days of going from sun up to sundown.
That's wild. I didn't even know you could do that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Did you know that? That you
That's
can
awesome.
go get a pronghorn on public land?
Yeah.
I don't think I
You
knew
can
that.
get almost anything on public land except the crazy stuff in Texas that they have on those private ranches, but
I can't get a nail guy on public land.
I don't believe so, no.
But yeah, it was fun, man. Camped on some BLM land and just kind of lived. Just didn't
That's
have to
cool.
worry about anything. You know, cell phone didn't work. This didn't work.
Mhm.
So just went out there and got busted 3 or 4 times before I made it happen.
How long was that shot?
I actually crawled on my stomach for 85 yards and popped up, and I was 60 yards from her.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
What kind of terrain was it?
It's plains.
It was you were out.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah,
you're out.
open
That's why you had to
plains.
crawl because
Yeah, it was so the way they were sitting in this little bowl. And so when I was standing up, I could see them. So I snuck around on the side of this hill and I popped up and I was probably a little over 100 yards or so from them. But with the grass, I couldn't stand up and get a shot or else I would have been busted. And so I had to crawl to the point where I could set up my rifle on my pack and see over the grass to be able to see them.
Damn.
So it took me a while.
how far did you have to drag it?
Not far.
Okay.
Just cut it and clean it right there and put it on your back and take it to the truck and
Yeah,
done.
that's
Nice.
wild. And you drove it back 28 hours or whatever here.
Yeah. Took it once I got it all gutted and cleaned up, quartered out. Put it in the cooler, kind of cleaned it up a little bit more, made sure everything was good. And then just made sure the ice was good. So it's that whole constantly draining the cooler
Mhm.
2-3 times a day, making sure the ice was staying good. And man, Yetis work really well.
They do. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And then got back to my buddy's house in St. Louis and threw it and back sealed it all up because I knew once I got back to work, I wasn't going to have time to do anything. So I still got to finish processing. I got to grind it and do everything I want to do to it, get the meat, different sections, and cut it all up. But I'll do that once whitetail season's over.
Yeah, it's like I always look forward to whitetail season, but it's like every spare minute. I mean, I got up this morning and went and moved my hunting location around a little bit because I might bring Gustafferson out there tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah.
So he can get him something because I got a Publix food mart over there. Like there's so many deer in there. There's a ton of deer in there.
Yeah. Just grocery shopping.
Yeah, go grocery shop. Bring that 30-06 here. Just trying to shoot the house behind it.
I might just bring the bow then.
Yeah, you'll be all right. There's like a miniature swamp back behind it. We're behind where you're be shooting. Yeah. So when you're out west, all the Bureau of Land Management, all the BLM land is basically our public land. Or what's the difference out there?
So they got state land, which is just like the WMA land here. Can't drive on it except for already established roads. You can't camp on it. Can't do any of that.
Mhm.
BLM land is federal land. And on that land, you can drive anywhere you want on it. You can camp anywhere you want on it and do all that kind of stuff. So you look for BLM land to set up your camp. And then with antelope, you're constantly driving. You're constantly in and out of your truck, going from spot to spot, trying to figure out where these antelope are because they run up to 60 miles an hour. So
Yeah, they're fast.
they're gone. They're gone in a heartbeat.
Yeah. That's what's crazy about them is like it's an actual animal. Like you would never think that thing lives in America, but they're ancient. Like they've been here forever. Back when there was tigers and shit, like American tigers that lived here,
Yeah.
and that's where these things developed to be able to run that fast. but they are so scared of everything.
Everything.
So if they see you at all, they're gone and they take off and they're super fast. But you hear about them ducking the string, like they're extremely hard to bow hunt because they will almost lay flat before they bolt.
Oh yeah.
And I think that would be such a challenging thing to do, to go out and bow hunt one of those, because the likelihood of you getting close enough to pull a bow back on it is very small. And then if you're 40 yards away, they're going to duck that string and they're gone.
Yeah.
Um,
And they're not big.
right.
They're pretty much the size of our whitetails.
Right. Yeah.
Like does only get up to be 110 pounds.
It's
I
tiny.
think mine was like 105. She was big.
Yeah.
For a doe. I think the bucks max out at like 130.
And
They're
this
tiny.
may be a stupid question. Do they don't drop their horns, but they have like a ability to they thicken every year, or how do
Yeah.
they just like put on like a tree, put on a
Yeah.
new layer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The crazy thing with them too is that the females can grow horns.
Mm-hmm. I knew that.
So you got to look at their necks before you shoot them. That's how you determine what they are. So the males, full-grown males, have this massive black spot on the side of their neck. Adolescent males have a little sliver of black, and then females have nothing. So
No
before
black.
you shoot, you got to make sure you know what you're shooting at.
So that season it's not male female. It's only females, or
No. So it is male or female.
Okay.
I just saving up points, trying to decide if I want to go to a better unit for my buck and all that kind of stuff. And a buck is $350 if you get it. So I've got 4 points. So I'm getting to the point where I can pretty much apply anywhere in Wyoming. I'll be able to get that tag. The doe fawn tag that I got this year is only $40, but it's just you put in, you hope you get lucky. And it's just $40 every year.
that's weird that they give you a fawn tag, because I guess we could kill a whitetail fawn, but like nobody would. But in Canada, they have fawn tags. Like you can go kill a baby calf or moose calf.
Yeah,
There's
moose.
calf tags.
Didn't
Yeah.
know that.
It's crazy.
Think about how much meat even a calf is, though. It's like
it's a cow.
it's a cow. Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
But to be able to get a tag to go kill a baby animal, that's pretty crazy. but like in reality, beef is 2 years old usually when they slaughter it. So you're eating baby cows
all the time.
Yeah, everywhere you go, it's a baby cow. So it's not really that crazy. You can go kill a year or 2-year-old deer or moose or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's weird to say it that way, because I think most people don't think of it that way.
Yeah, I still, every time I go out there, I'm trying to bring back home as much meat as possible.
100%.
So
yeah,
I found the biggest female I could.
Yeah,
that's the one I took.
I would do the exact same thing.
So, and then plus I was hoping to get some rabbits, because the last time I was out there with a buddy of mine, you couldn't walk 10 feet without stepping on a rabbit. I mean, they were just everywhere.
They have the big ear ones.
Yeah. They got the what are the jackrabbits? Jackrabbits, and then cottontails. And the cottontails were like 2-3 pounds. They're huge.
Delicious. Cottontails. There's not much in this world that tastes better than cottontail.
And when me and my buddy were out there, we didn't even think about small game hunting. We were just so focused on the tags that we had. We were like, okay. So we ended up small game hunting during the day. And all we had was a 9mm pistol. We were just walking around shooting them with a 9. It's just like,
that's a good time right there.
Yeah, well, we got 13 of them, so we did pretty good.
Cottontail,
yeah,
damn,
nice.
Dude. Yeah, so this year took the 22 out there. I was like, oh, I'm bringing back a mess of rabbits, because in Wyoming you can kill 10 a day, and then have 20 in your possession. So I was like, oh, I'm bringing back.
Yeah.
Like I was 100% sure I was going to come back with rabbits.
With 20 rabbits.
And no antelope.
Yeah.
And it came the other way around. I couldn't find a rabbit. Found
no
antelope.
Rabbits.
Antelope were everywhere. And I did the work too. I was hiking up these little bluffs and all this kind of stuff, like getting into everything. Could not find a rabbit.
I'd almost drive 24 hours just to go kill 20 rabbits.
Dude, 2021, I couldn't go out there. My buddy's dad got a tag, and I was going to go with him just to go kill rabbits. And we were so busy at work, I couldn't get the time off. So I couldn't go that year, but him and his dad came back with a mess of rabbits.
There was a guy I used to know he would kill rabbits and he'd skin them. And he was like, anybody kill rabbits, bring me the skin. But he would because their skin is so soft. Like he would tan it so you could use it, but he would rip it into strings, into strips, and then tie it together. So each rabbit he'd end up with like 4 feet of like this rabbit cord.
Yeah.
And so he would get a bunch of them and he would kind of like braid them together and turn them into scarves and hats and all kinds of stuff. But you could touch it and be like, you would never guess this was a rabbit,
Yeah.
10 days ago, whatever, from whatever he would make out of it. And I've always thought that would be such a cool skill to be able to just slay rabbits and then make like a cape or something, like our
Yeah.
blanket,
Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to start.
I wouldn't either. I
No.
wouldn't either. We have friends that tan stuff, and I'm sure we can learn how to do it. But I think there's a way to do it with their brains. Like you pull the brains out and cook it some way, and then you can coat the hide in it, and it tans it.
Mm.
And I want to learn how to do that because that seems to be the most to tan an animal with its own
Yeah.
animal
Yeah,
parts.
you're not using all those chemicals
Right,
and all
yeah.
that stuff. Yeah.
The way the way they did it back in the day, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I want to get into is hides.
You got a big garage.
Yeah, it's full of shit. There's whiskey barrels and motorcycles and car parts and
There's a lot of shit
generators
there.
and
There's a lot of shit in there.
there's a lot of shit in there.
Maybe one day it'll be cleaned out and it'll become a tannery.
That'd be fun. I might just turn my living room into a tanning room. What do you think? She said, yeah.
There you go.
She thinks she's talking about tanning beds.
That's exactly what she thinks. Have you ever seen her? She don't know what those look like. We're talking about tanning beds. Oh, now she's mad. Nailed it. All right. Is there anything else anybody needs to know about you? You're a hunter. You're a distiller.
Yeah.
All around good dude.
Come say, hey, come visit us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Head down to Bluffton. It's Burnt Church Distillery. Schedule a tour. And then
You'll see me running around frantically.
yeah. You see a guy in there that looks like he knows what he's doing. That's Pete. Go say hello.
Yeah. I probably don't know. I look like I know what I'm doing.
You're looking at you're distilling from your phone.
Yep. That or PLC. If you see a guy with a lot of messed up clothing on, that's usually me.
That's the way to live right there.
Dirty overalls, dirty t-shirts. They always try and get me to get new shirts. I'm like, but these still are fine.
Yeah, why would I wear new clothes to work?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
They're just gonna get dirty.
And then how would we describe Chris? He looks like he's in charge.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So if you see a guy and you're like, that guy's in charge, that's Chris. Go talk to him.
Chris.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right, you got anything else, Gus?
No, I got nothing, man. Thanks for joining us. And if you're listening, you're in this any of the three. What were the states you said you were in?
We're in Georgia, South Carolina, and Tennessee. You can
Okay.
also buy us online. So we
There you
do the online sales. Like one company's coming out of Florida, another company's coming out of California, and then I think DC. So I think between those three places, it's like 35 or 40 states that we can reach.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go,
it's
folks. Never fun buying it online because you got to pay for the shipping. But if you want to try it,
Heck yeah.
wait
worth
for
it.
us to get it out there right now while we're still trying to grow.
Yeah.
Trying
And if
to
you're
figure it
listening
out.
to this, you want to try it. I
100%.
promise. Yeah. We're huge fans of it. We push it all over town, promote it. We've got bars and restaurants that don't have it. We'll tell them they got to sell it. They end up selling it. Liquor stores, we convince them to sell it. It's and it's not like convince. We just basically say, taste this. And they're like, don't you want to sell this? And then they're like, yes.
Yeah.
We
We really appreciate it. Like Bearcat had it last night, and I watched them pour an entire bottle. So
yeah,
that was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
Heck yeah.
so cool.
That's cool.
And that was thanks to y'all and getting that in there for us.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Same thing with the Gibby's connection. So
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna go try and push some whiskey for them and really hit the Charleston market pretty good in 2024. So
This is how much we believe in it. We would never, like some pages or podcasts or companies will subscribe to one brand and be like, this is our brand. We're going to push it. We would never do that because we like the ability to be fluid and do whatever. But if we were to pick a brand and ask for sponsorship or whatever, it would be Burnt Church 100%.
call
like
Chris.
No, I don't want to do it. I don't want it. but we believe in it that much. I mean, we
100%.
yeah,
I
it's good
appreciate it.
people, it's good stuff, it's good. I mean, everything is just it's
Well,
exactly what we like.
When the Johnny Fever comes out, y'all have to come back down and try it.
100%. We
Absolutely.
gave Bob Jarvis painted some stuff where I gave that to him yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
Those were
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
Those were real cool. Love those. Appreciate it. We'll
Yeah,
get 'em
I'm sure he'll
tomorrow.
be if you're what you guys are downtown. I'm not sure what you guys are getting into tonight, but if you're bored and you guys are just cruising around downtown, the holiday market downtown where we'll be on Market Street tonight, he'll probably be there. You can swing by
He'll be
him
there.
and see him.
Yeah.
He's cool dude.
Okay.
I'll introduce you to him if you're don't feel obligated to come down there.
Yeah,
But
no,
if you're
please,
in the
please
area,
don't.
I
I
don't know
wouldn't be.
what they're
I
doing.
don't know if I'd go walking around a market with my bros.
hell no. Not if me and my friends were hanging out drinking. No.
I don't know. They just got to town, so we'll see where they're at. Hopefully, they're at a bar somewhere.
Well, if
Have-
you end up
have
on
fun.
Market Street between 6 and 10 p.m., we'll be there. So
Cool. Yeah. See what they're up to. See
hell
what they
yeah.
want to do.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks, Pete, for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I
Yep, thanks,
appreciate y'all.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.
Hey.
Drinking